Hytale is the Minecraft sequel we never got, and it literally just came out, but people are already speedrunning it. I don't usually cover games like this, but this race was so close and the strats were so broken that I just knew I had to make a video. The rules of this challenge were simple. Find the frost dragon as fast as you can, but the world is completely random, so no two runs will ever be the same. To reach the dragon, you need to collect memories by exploring the world and recording every creature you come across, and once you've logged enough of them, the game lets you build a portal to the final zone. In this video, two speedrunners went head to head for the world record. One of them is a veteran who's been grinding speedruns for years, while the other has never held a record in his entire life. To pull it off, they'll need to gather materials, hunt down nearly 100 memories, build a portal to the dragon spire, and find the dragon before the other runner beats you to it. The runs were separated by just 8 seconds, and task begins with him picking up rocks off the floor of a cave and crafting the most important item of the entire run, a pair of daggers, and you'll see why that is in just a moment. His goal right now is to find the forgotten temple so he can unlock the memories feature and start collecting them. The temple always appears within 300 blocks of your spawn, and in order to get there as fast as possible, Taf's gonna use the first speedrun strat of the run, and that's dagger dashing. By swapping his daggers to another hotbar slot and then back again, he can cancel the animation of the dash and chain another one immediately. Doing so at the top of his jump will send him even farther, but it is risky though, because if you swap off the daggers too early, then you'll cancel your dash completely and lose 3 seconds in the process. In spite of this, Taf hits every single dash and finds the temple just a minute into his run. He walks up to the altar, takes the bucket, and digs straight down to the floor into the basement below, making sure to land in a pool of water to negate any fall damage. While falling, he swaps the position of his bucket on the hotbar and fills it with water just as he lands. From there, he runs behind the pool where a chest rewards him with some iron ore and light hide, but the real prize is the high roll chest, which drops 9 more iron ore and some food. That iron is going to come in handy later. Rather than waste time fighting the golem guarding the basement, Taf heads straight into the dimension and activates the standing stone at the center. This unlocks the memories feature, and now the run can really begin. Once unlocked, the memories feature lets him record creatures he encounters and bring them back to this altar called the Heart of Orbis. Just by standing near it, he immediately picks up 4 memories: frog, sapling, seedling, and rooting. Using his dagger dash, Taf lunges up a nearby tree and grabs 2 more, the greenfinch and the brown owl. He doesn't lunge high enough to reach the top, but by a stroke of luck, all 3 birds were close enough to the tree, so he only loses a couple of seconds climbing up the branches manually to snag the bluebird memory. To round out the area, Taf lunges through the courtyard and picks up the doe, stag, bunny, squirrel, duck, and minnow memories before recording them all at the altar. Leaving the portal grants him with the earth and golem memory as well, bringing his total up to 13. At this point, Taf stops to tell his chat how happy speedrunning makes him and that he loves sharing the experience with other people. For someone brand new to the esport, that kind of energy is really refreshing to see. Opening his map, he spots the swamp biome up north and starts heading in that direction. Taf has now entered the resource gathering phase of the run, and there's a very good reason he's headed to the swamp first. I'll explain what that is when he gets there. On the way, he comes across some black wolves but chooses to ignore them. Players can only hold 48 memories at once, and Taf wants to save that space for later. Instead, he loots a nearby camp for some light hide and copper ore while also picking up the brawler and guard memories. He does mess up his dagger dash timing here though and gets clipped by an enemy, losing a few seconds, which isn't a huge deal, but in a race this close, every second matters. Continuing toward the swamp, Taf spots a bird in the sky, builds a quick pillar of logs, and lunges up to grab the pigeon memory. He goes for a bucket clutch on the way down to avoid fall damage and misses it. He nails the next one though, then grabs the sheep and lamb memories before raiding a larger camp for the spider, mauler, elder, and white wolf memories. After crossing through a blue forest biome called the Fens and eating some berries to heal himself, Taf finally arrives at the swamp. And here's why this biome is so important. The trees here drop way more logs for how little you have to chop, the mushrooms growing on them can be used for a movement tech later on, and the swamp has animals you can't find anywhere else, like the marsh snake and the raven. From just 2 trees, Taf walks away with over 280 logs and a bunch of mushrooms. After that, he opens his map and spots white trees in the distance, and that's a good sign because it means that the snow biome is close, and with it, 2 structures that he needs to hit next, a cathedral and something the speedrun community calls a dog. And that name will make a lot more sense once you finally see it. Despite all the progress he's made, Taf's got a long road ahead of him. He needs to raid 2 cathedrals for void essence, clear out some strongholds for crafting materials, and keep collecting memories along the way. So while he works on all of that, let me tell you why this video almost didn't happen. I am not exaggerating when I say I almost wasn't able to make this video. My PC kept crashing every time I tried to edit, and when you're working with hours of footage, that just isn't gonna cut it. So I reached out to Ironside and they built me me a custom PC. This thing is a massive upgrade. It's got a 5080 with 16 gigs of VRAM, 64 gigs of DDR5, and 2 terabytes of storage. I edited this entire video on it and not a single crash. Ironside is giving away 3 custom PCs right now through their Design to Be Yours giveaway, and all you have to do to enter is click the link in the description or the pinned comment. It's completely free, ships worldwide, and the winner gets to choose any limited edition case that they want. If you don't happen to win but still want to build a dream PC like mine, then just head over to ironside.gg and they'll build you one. These guys do everything. You just pick your specs and they'll take care of the rest. It even comes with a 3-year parts warranty and 5 years on labor, so you just know that they're confident in what they build you. Thanks again to Ironside for sponsoring this video. Now that Taf's unlocked the memories feature, collected his first 13 memories, and stocked up on resources, the first phase of his run is done. From here, he needs to raid strongholds for materials, collect the remaining 87 memories, smelt everything down, and build the ancient gateway where the frost dragon is waiting for him. There's still a long way to go, but Taf is moving at a solid pace. The question is whether or not it's fast enough, because N3m is on a world record pace of his own. N3m is a seasoned Minecraft speedrunner, and you can tell from the moment his run starts. His movement is sharp, and unlike Taf, who skipped the crude sword entirely, N3m crafts one right away and uses its charge attack to close the gap on a nearby tree. N3m chops it down and crafts his crude daggers immediately. From the moment he starts moving, you can tell he's experienced. Whenever he's out of stamina, he does a light attack, crouches into a roll on landing, then jumps out of it to keep his momentum going. It's the kind of precision that comes from years of speedrunning. He makes quick work of the temple, grabbing the bucket, breaking the floor, and filling it with water on the way down. His high roll chest isn't as generous though, only dropping 5 iron ore compared to Taf's 9. Not the end of the world, but he'll have to make up for it later on. N3m collects all 13 of the same memories, and this is where the runs start to differ. While dashing north, N3m comes across some planted wheat and collects some essence of life from it. He's gonna need these for later. He picks up the boar and the cow memories, grabs some more essence from another wheat patch, then chops down a large tree for 156 logs and a dozen brown mushroom shells. Not as many logs as Taf pulled from the swamp, but it'll have to do. He grabs a few more memories crossing the tundra, then pulls off a series of insanely precise lunges across the mountain range, followed by a bucket clutch.
The movement's not that hard. It's really fun though once you get good at it.
We've seen it a few times now, but a bucket clutch is when a player places water from their bucket right under them just before hitting the ground to cancel the fall damage. This is the same technique Minecraft speedrunners use, but the timing is way harder in Hytale, and if you do it wrong, then you could definitely die. N3m enters the glacier biome, but unlike Taf, who found a cathedral first, N3m stumbles upon a dog. Without good gear or a bed, he's gonna play it safe here, grabbing the frost skeleton memories and looting some thorium and a new sword before getting out safely. Almost. He launches himself through a tower window and goes for a bucket clutch on the way out and misses it. Barely alive, he rushes past a frost skeleton to squeeze a few extra memories in, then eats some of the wheat he picked up earlier for some very slow health gain. One snow owl memory later, and he's staring down a steep cliff and decides to risk another bucket clutch.
And we throw the run here.
Meanwhile, Taf's guess pays off and a cathedral shows up on the map as he gets closer. These are huge for the run because outlanders living inside them drop void essence, and he needs 30 of it to build the ancient gateway. The only other way to get void essence is by killing enemies at night, which won't happen until later in the run, so raiding cathedrals early is pretty much mandatory. Each one drops about 15 void essence on average, meaning he'll need to hit 2 of them. They're also packed with chests full of strong gear, healing items, and, if he's lucky, all the thorium and cobalt he needs for the rest of the run. At the cathedral, Taf ducks into a small house, grabs one of the beds, and claims the other to set his respawn point. Then he shows us exactly what those shells are good for by launching himself up and over the rampart like it's nothing. Taf lunges onto the cathedral itself and breaks in through the roof and starts looting. The first chest gives him thorium ore, a rare outlander bow, and some iron gauntlets that'll boost his defenses. A second chest drops an iron hatchet to replace his crude axe, which is also a nice upgrade. He drops down onto a balcony, picks up the memories from the enemies nearby, then drops right into the middle of them before rushing into a corner where he walls himself in with logs. While the other side's blocked off, he can actually hit the mobs through the wall as they pile up behind it. This trick lets him clear out the building with minimal risk, But the only problem is that he's still using his crude daggers, so it's gonna take a while. Once they're all dead, Taf grabs the loot and gets a huge weapon upgrade in the Outlander daggers. He gets jump scared by one more enemy before slipping into a secret room behind a flag where more chests give him a rare Outlander sword, iron greaves, thorium, cobalt, and some health potions. At this point, things are going really well for Taf. His loot is amazing, his weapons are upgraded, and all he has to do is walk out of the room and keep moving, but he doesn't make it out alive. The enemies catch him on the way out, and just like that, Taf is dead. Thankfully, earlier, he set his respawn point on the balcony above, but now he has to grab the bed and take it with him. If he dies again right now, then the run is definitely over because he'll spawn really far away back at his original spawn point. After clearing out an Outlander shaman by the pool and looting the remaining chests around the area, Taf climbs back up the outer wall and lands another bucket clutch to wrap up his first cathedral raid. He walks away with 8 thorium ores, some ingots, and 17 void essence from the enemies. That last number is huge because it pretty much guarantees that he'll hit 30 after raiding his next cathedral, which means that he won't have to go out of his way to kill anything else. There were 2 things he didn't get though, and the first is ice essence. Fortunately, it's easy to find these in frost strongholds, and that's exactly where he's headed next. Taf makes his way east where he finds a stronghold nearby. The place is full of frost skeletons, and before taking them on, he makes sure to put down a bed just in case things go wrong. These enemies hit extremely hard, and he goes down pretty quickly. The bed he placed saves him though, and he kills the remaining skeletons for the essence he needs and some linen scraps on top of it. He breaks through the tower floor to open a chest in the basement without actually entering it. Then he grabs some linen scraps and thorium ore from a chest nearby. He skips the cobalt because he already has plenty, and after picking up a thorium mace and ditching the gear he doesn't need anymore, he heads for the second stronghold. But there's one thing Taf still hasn't found yet, and the longer he goes without it, the more time he's losing. With his life on the line, N3m goes for another bucket clutch and sticks the landing. Before long, he finds a cathedral of his own, and just like Taf, he grabs a bed from a hut nearby. But instead of using the mushroom shelves to get over the wall, he stacks wooden logs and lunges right over it. He breaks into the main building and picks up the cave spider memory on the way in. The cellar chests give him thorium, health potions, and a battle axe, but the real find here is an iron pickaxe. To put it in perspective, a crude pickaxe takes 12 swings to break a single iron ore, but an iron pickaxe does it in just 4. That's 3 times faster, and when you're mining as much ore as these guys are, that time adds up fast. He drops down onto the balcony and sets his bed before heading to the same wall trick Taf used. He grabs the Outlander memories on the way, but almost dies getting there. This trick was actually created by 2 runners working together. A player named Okia came up with a cathedral route, and another runner named Bloons Killer figured out the wall trick to clear him safely. With his battle axe, N3m tears through the trapped enemies and picks up 14 void essence in a pair of Outlander daggers. He loots a hidden room for an iron helmet, cobalt, and thorium, then lunges back to grab a chest near the top. He heads back to his bed and opens one last chest for a couple greater health potions and the thorium hatchet. If it isn't obvious by now, N3m plays really reckless. He's always sitting at low health, always pushing forward, and always choosing speed over safety. At one point, he even lets a spider kill him next to his bed just so he can respawn at full health. That's gotta be the fastest heal in the game. He heads into a nearby house and blocks the door behind him, then breaks a hole in the wall to reach the chest outside without leaving. Between that chest and the ones inside, he picks up thorium, cobalt, food, a repair kit, and some arrows, which should help him capture memories from some flying enemies later on. Luckily for N3m, a second cathedral spawned close to the first one, cutting down his travel time significantly. He already has most of the thorium and cobalt he needs, so the main thing he's after now is void essence. He makes his way to the top of the building and gets sniped by a spider the second he breaks in. After recovering, he clears the cathedral using the same wall trick and walks away with the rest of his thorium, ice essence, a sword, and some daggers. He tears through the camp without ever slowing down, then spots some frost mages that give him another memory and a lot more ice essence. One skeleton in particular gives him some trouble though, wasting his time by blocking his dagger hits for about 12 seconds straight. N3m raids one more stronghold and loots the chest for linen scraps and a few more ice essence. He kills himself to respawn at his bed and then takes out a ranger nearby. He's got everything he needs, and it's finally time to move on. At his current pace, N3m is looking really solid, but one small mistake is about to set him back big time. Meanwhile, Taf finds some iron armor and a helmet to help keep him alive, in addition to more thorium, linen scraps, and ice essence, but He still hasn't found that second thing though, and that second thing is a pickaxe upgrade. It's becoming a real problem because he's gonna need to start mining copper and iron ore soon, and with a crude pickaxe, it's going to take way too many swings to break a single ore. Dashing through the snow, he picks up the frost snail, bison, and polar bear memories along the way. His luck finally turns around when a chest rewards him with a copper pickaxe, but it's still twice as slow as N3m's iron one. It's better than nothing, but he'll have to see if he can find an iron one soon. At the second cathedral, Taf gathers more resources and swaps to a fresh pair of outlander daggers. He sets up the same wall trick as before, but this time he's using his thorium mace. He's figured out that by swinging and quickly switching to another item in his hotbar and then back again, he can cancel the in lag of the swing and actually attack faster. Turns out that was a mistake though, because weapons in Hytale have an ultimate attack that charges up the more times you swing in a row, and switching your item actually resets that charge. The mace's ultimate is one of the best moves for clearing groups, so his new discovery ends up costing him some time here. Taf finishes clearing the cathedral and brings his total void essence up to 32. He stops to consider whether or not it's worth sticking around to look for a better pickaxe, and then he finds one in the very next house. Now he just needs 2 more ice essence, and the next chest drops 4. Sometimes you just get lucky. Riding that luck, Taf grabs another bed for later and puts his new pickaxe to work, mining 27 copper ore. The resource gathering phase is almost done, and all he needs now is iron ore, life essence, and cobblestone. The rest of the memories he plans to collect along the way. He takes out some skeletons for his last 2 linen scraps and then records the moose, cow, mouse, fox, and cobra memories. He lunges through a river for the crow and pike memories, then pulls off another bucket clutch for the woodpecker. A massive health bar appears in the distance, and then he picks up the yeti memory along with the mouflon and lamb nearby. Heading southeast, he grabs 5 more memories, then wastes a few seconds chasing down a flock of birds, only to realize they were pigeons, which he already had. With the snow biome cleared, it's finally time to smelt. Tav heads back into the starting temple and sets up a bunch of furnaces, using his massive log reserve as fuel. He splits the iron, copper, thorium, and cobalt ores across him to make everything as fast as possible. After that, he puts his void essence, ice essence, and ingots into a chest. He's gonna need to keep those safe, because where he's going next, he might not come back alive. He heads down into the basement and notices that the golem that drops cobblestone has despawned, but that's fine since sleeping later will bring him back. He enters the portal and registers his 46 new memories at the altar, bringing him up to 59 out of 100. He marks a nearby cave on the map since he still needs 15 iron ore. Usually these caves have goblin structures and silk larvae for easy memories, but Taf gets unlucky and neither one spawns. He mines all of his iron ore anyway and then falls into a massive pit leading down into the lava caverns below. If it wasn't for a clutch bucket save, then the run would have ended right there. At this point, Taf does something interesting and splits his iron ore into piles of 3. The reason is actually simple. When you die in Hytale, you lose half of each stack, but the game always rounds down, so a stack of 3 only loses 1 instead of 1.5. It's a small trick that saves runners from having to go back and mine more ore just to make up for the death tax. On the bright side, almost every lava cavern enemy spawns for him, giving him the fire steel golem, magma rhino toad, goblin scrapper, and living spark memories. With his iron split and his memories locked in, Tab does what any reasonable speedrunner would do and happily jumps into the lava. While Tab's taking a hot bath underground, N3m has been really busy. N3m jumps into the river and grabs the Frostgill, Trilobite, and Snapjaw memories, then grabs the Bison and Penguin on the way out. He takes down a roaming frost skeleton for some linen scraps and ice essence, then raids his second stronghold. It nearly kills him, but he gets 12 linen scraps and 10 ice essence from it. Once he's done, N3m does what he does best and charges straight into the ground to respawn at his bed with full HP, fastest heal in the game. He pushes through the snow biome, grabbing the Bison calf memory along the way and ignoring a frost skeleton patrol since he's already got everything he needs from them. He finds a moose bull and moose cow, then comes across a frozen version of the temple. Inside, he fights a frost golem guarding the portal and picks up 25 cobblestone along with its memory. While he's here, N3m registers his 41 memories at the altar, bringing him to a total of 54 out of 100. He still needs 46 left. Leaving through another exit, he runs right into a skeleton patrol and grabs the archer and scout memories. On the way back to his starting temple, he cuts through a marsh biome and picks up the turkey chick, and marsh snake memories before climbing a tree for a raven. He loots what he calls a toilet hut for a linen scrap, finds a pigeon and mouse, then finally makes it back to the first temple where he sets up camp with a bed, workbench, and furnace furnaces to start smelting. Unlike Taf though, N3m didn't walk away from the swamp with almost 300 logs. He used some for parkour along the way, so now he's low on fuel and has to chop down a few more trees before he can get everything going. He still needs 15 more iron ore, so he marks a cave on his map and heads that way. He picks up the bluegill, full, and horse memories along the way, then raids a twerk camp for the brawler and guard memories. He changes plans when he spots a mine shaft nearby and decides to go down there instead since they're easier to navigate. He takes a big hit from a long drop and then ends up in total darkness. He doesn't panic though. Instead, he collects his iron and picks up the mole rat, skeleton soldier, bat, and rat memories while he's there. An opening in the floor reveals a goblin fortress below, and N3m grabs the goblin scrapper memory before dropping down to another level into the lava caves where he picks up the fire steel golem and incandescent skeleton head memories. He splits his iron ore into piles of 3 using the same death tax trick from before, then picks up the incandescent skeleton fighter and mage memories. He figures his ores are probably done smelting by now and gets ready to die, but right before he jumps in, he hears a magma rhino toad and stops to grab its memory first. Then he takes the plunge. Back at the temple, he crafts a 4th furnace, spreads the iron across all of them, and sleeps through the night. His chat is starting to feel it, and they can tell that a world record is coming soon. It was time to head to the desert. N3m's terrain isn't great though. A volcanic island is blocking his path south, forcing him to go left instead of straight down. His desert is also farther than usual, but he's already sitting on a lot of memories, so he won't need as many from these biomes. He grabs a tetra bird on the way, then combs the beach for a spider, lobster, and unlike Taf, who stayed on dry land, N3m jumps straight into the water for the clownfish and lemon peel tang. He lands on a tiny island and gets lucky with the piglet, crab, and pig memories all in one spot, followed by the sheep and lamb right after. At this point, N3m only needs 13 memories from the desert. Taf still needs 24.
This can be done so fast.
He enters the golden steeps and starts clearing house. Flamingo, armadillo, meerkat, sand-swept skeleton, assassin, and guard. Then the saber-tooth target, warthog piglet, warthog itself, fan, antelope. He just needs 4 more memories. He spots a hyena in the distance, but he's concerned that he hasn't found any chickens. While he doesn't get one, he does get a gecko, ram, and a parrot. That makes 100 memories, and N3m has everything he needs to build the ancient gateway. As usual, he charges into the ground, respawns at the temple, then grabs the materials from the chest and starts crafting. That's when he realizes something tragic. He forgot to put 3 iron ores in the furnace, and that small mistake could cost him everything. Meanwhile, back at the temple, Taf splits his iron across 4 furnaces, and while he waits for them to smelt, he heads out to find the essence of life, which comes from farm crops. He picks up the cow, calf, bluegill, and tetrabird memories in a nearby forest, then finds the Quebec village loaded with crops. He grabs 20 life essence from it, which is double what he needs. That way, when he dies later and loses half, he'll still have exactly 10. He doesn't find the Quebec sprouting memory he was hoping for though, so he just moves on. Taf picks up a boar, piglet, and trout, then does some quick math. After registering his last batch at the altar, he needed 41 memories to hit 100. With what he's grabbed so far, he still needs 24 from the desert. He finds a grizzly bear and a skeleton fighter, but night is falling, so he waits until 7:30 in-game to sleep. This keeps the friendly animals spawning and avoids nighttime enemies while also respawning the golem in the temple basement that he'll need for cobblestone later. He enters the Badlands to grab the tortoise and camel memories, then a sand lizard and vulture. He gets lucky and spots a ram and ram lamb, which are really unusual to find in a run. Realizing he needs to push south where most of the desert animals spawn, Taf picks up an armadillo and flamingo on the way, then shoots down a scarab seeker from the sky to unlock its memory too. 1 scorpion and saber-tooth tiger later, he passes through a desert stronghold for the sand-swept skeleton assassin, archer, and guard memories before heading into the coast for some fish spawns. He finds a skrill and antelope, then wastes a few seconds chasing down an animal he already has. He spots a crab on the beach, but no fish are close enough to shore, and swimming out to them would cost way too much time. Heading back inland, he grabs a hyena and warthog, and now he just has 1 memory left. He manages to find it in a stream thanks to a moray eel. With all 41 memories collected, Taf charges into the ground 3 times and respawns at the temple to grab his smelted ingots. He fights the golem in the basement and gets 22 cobblestone, then mines the rest from a pillar nearby. His chat is feeling the pressure.
Yeah, this is fastest pace ever. I just need to go dragon.
He registers his 41 new memories at the altar, then heads back out.
Give me a 30-second dragon. Let me kill this category, actually.
Using his copper and iron ingots, he upgrades his workbench so he can build an Arcanus workbench. With his void essence, life essence, and thorium, he builds the ancient gateway, then his cobalt and ice essence let him craft the portal fragment for the dragon spire. He places it down, powers it up, and while waiting for the gateway to open, eats a carrot for some health regeneration before stepping through. At 33 minutes on the clock, Taf is already in the Dragon Dimension and moving at an insane pace. If the nest spawns close, he could be looking at a sub 35 or even a sub 34 world record, but the Dragon Dimension had other plans. N3m did not let his iron mistake slow him down. He throws him in the furnace and uses the wait time to mine the rest of the cobblestone he needs from the temple walls. Thanks to his quick thinking, pretty much no time was lost. He enters the Forgotten Temple and registers his final 46 memories at the altar, then heads back up to build the gateway since he left the golem alive in his temple. He upgrades his workbench, crafts the Arcanist workbench, and starts praying for some good RNG.
Just give me a 30-second dragon. I don't have to play this game anymore.
He builds the portal fragment, waits for the ancient gateway to activate, and steps through. In the Dragon Dimension, your time comes down to two things: how close did the dragon nest spawn to you, and how fast can your PC load the map. N3m has been speedrunning Minecraft for years, and his setup matches that. His map loads in quickly, and the second a patch of snow shows up on screen, he pins it and takes off at full speed. His chat loses their minds. He gets lucky on the first try. That patch of snow turned out to be a massive snow mountain where the dragon nest spawns. He lost time here and there throughout the run, but this could be the break he needed to claim the world record.
It's not sub 35, but it should be a sub 36.
He spots a dragon nest on the map, but it's not over yet. Sometimes dragons don't actually spawn in their nests. Using mushroom shells and lunges, N3m flies up the cliffside, and soon the claw-like shape of the dragon nest becomes apparent. N3m grabs the frost dragon memory and completes the run.
Freaking go, man. 35-28. Oh, it's actually so good. It's actually so good.
His time is 35:28, beating the previous world record of 38:03 by over 2.5 minutes. That was a massive improvement, and it's going to be hard for anyone to beat. Let's see if Taf has what it takes to beat N3m's time. Taf's map loads way slower than N3m's did.
Like, this is so... My PC just sucks, man.
Taf just commits to a direction, but after 40 seconds of running, it turns out not to be a dragon spawn at all. The real biome is actually northeast of the gateway, and now he has to turn all the way around. He starts placing mushrooms to climb faster and make up for the massive time lost. He opens up his map and spots the dragon nest just north of him. Out of mushrooms, but not out of options, he starts building a quick pillar of logs to reach the top of the mountain. Then he hears it. A low, deep breath coming from his left, and it's closer than the nest he pinged on the map. He turns and jumps through the air, and the dragon nest reveals itself right in front of him.
I got the memory. I got the memory. It counts for sure. It counts for sure. Okay, well, I guess thank you.
Taf completes the run with a time of 35:20, which is 8 whole seconds faster than N3m, making him the world record holder. In the end, this was a crazy race, and it came down to just a few seconds. N3m had the cleaner movement, the better PC, and the luckier cathedral spawns, but Taf had the better swamp, the clutch pickaxe find, and just enough heart to throw himself off of a mountain and land face first into a dragon nest. This race took place last month, and the times have been pushed even lower since then, so if you want to see these guys break records in real time, then go ahead and stop by their streams and show your support. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more speedruns in other games, then like the video and don't forget to subscribe.